Hey, I wanted to do a quick video briefly to explain why I would even entertain the idea of a flat earth model, since that's the big hot topic lately between the globe earth and the flat earth debate. And obviously many people think it's completely stupid and ridiculous, but off the bat I want to say I'm not religious. I'm not a fanatic. I don't believe stuff just because it's in the Bible. But I do appreciate the information that's in the Bible. I think that a lot of it is actually accurate and useful, and there's a lot of it that's archaic and stupid. So that said, I just want to say that the reason I entertain it is because there are some very basic reasons, blatant reasons why. The first one is that a gyroscope does not work on a spinning sphere. You can't guide a plane across the world on a spinning sphere with a gyroscope. It doesn't work. That's been proven. They've done a video experiment on YouTube. Check it out for yourself. Just because it's not mainstream and scientists don't accept it as proof does not mean it's not proof or real. That's the problem. The whole entire world is ruled by entities that have an agenda to keep people stupid and to believe what they want you to believe. And that's not paranoid, it's not a conspiracy theory, it's just the fact that that's human nature, to stick together. When you're a control freak, you get other control freaks together and you make things go the way you want them to go so you can rule the world. That's the ultimate goal for a control freak, is to rule the world, right? So that is one motivation for wanting to hide the truth. The other reason that I entertain the idea is because the globe theory has not ever been proven. Never, ever, ever has it been proven. So, you know, just because NASA and your school teachers and the professors in college all tell you all of these different phenomenon and explain them using the globe theory model and the heliocentric model, that doesn't mean that it's been proven. In fact, they use certain so-called facts, like the sun is 93 million miles away. How did they figure that out? Well, I read and researched, and it said they figured that out by determining how far apart the planets were, by determining how far they thought the planets were from Earth, blah, blah, blah. So that's not fact. So they use 93 million miles as this solid fact to inject into all their other theories to prove that theory, and that's not science. That's just not science. When Carl Sagan, I saw that video of him explaining with this little map, when he curves his map like that and he shows how the two towers that are apart from each other cast different angled shadows, you know, that blew me away, because I realized at that moment that he was either not as smart as I thought he was, or he is intentionally trying to deceive people. Because when you flatten that map out and you bring the sun much closer and you circle the sun around those poles, they're going to cast different angles of shadows just the same way as they would if the surface was curved or sloped. Now, I'm not a rocket scientist, I'm not brilliant, and I don't think I know everything. It's just that that's common sense to me. To me, that's just common sense. And the problem is that when I was growing up, I was made to believe that I was stupid, worthless by, you know, people in schools, in, you know, not by my family, but, you know, authority figures who think they know everything. And I thought, well, I must, you know, they know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. But when I really started using my own mind and started researching things for myself, I realized that things just did not add up. And those are some of the things that I started to question. Now, there's a whole list of things that can be explained with the flat earth theory, and a whole list of things that you can also explain with the globe theory. But the problem is that the globe theory has a lot of problems that you can explain with that theory. And, you know, a ship going over the horizon does not mean that you're on a sphere. It doesn't. It means that you can't see the ship anymore because it's so far away from you. Obviously, the atmosphere becomes thicker the further away something is, and if you grab a pair of binoculars, you can see the ship suddenly appear again miraculously above the horizon. So I'm just saying it's not proof. We have to remember, we have to understand that proof is different from your assumptions based on facts that were supposed to be based on a theory that were invented for the theory. I mean, it's not science. And you know, I'm tired of these Neil deGrasse Tysons and whatever that other guy's name is from Britain with the Beatles haircut, you know, talking to people like they're stupid pieces of shit, you know, because they try to explain the flat earth theory. And one last thing, it's not that we think the earth is flat. Obviously the earth is not flat. There's pits and valleys and all that. It's the plane. It's a plane. It's a flat plane. And even astrophysicists will tell you that the holographic world model is that everything arises from a 2D level plane, and it's projected holographically. Now, if you imagine two bubbles like merging together, when they touch, they're going to form a flat plane between them. You put all these different bubbles together and you have hexagons forming, like a beehive, for example. And anyway, between those two bubbles is a flat plane, and if they're both spinning in different directions, they will create a vortex in the middle, and then you'll have like a wormhole between the two of them, right? You'll have one world on the bottom and one on the other, and they'll be oppositely charged. They'll be completely polar opposites. So that's kind of the model that I have in my mind. It's a toroidal field of two, you know, yin and yang, and the Pisces, that's like a Pisces, thank you, had to think of it real quick. The fleur de lis, the Holy Grail, it is the cup of Christ. It is that vortex that opens on one end, the flower of life, okay? It's the flower of life, and it's one dimension or two-dimensional in that it's a flat plane, and yet from all that motion and spinning and everything, it's creating a hologram. And the sun and the moon are just part of that whole hologram, that whole holographic model. And the stars above that someone would see from that flat plane would just be looking up at a plasma field, a bubble that's just spinning around your head. And so, you know, if you explain things that way, it kind of makes more sense. You just have to realize that it's physics. It's not religious crap, you know, that has no bearing whatsoever. It's using your logic and your reason and your intuition as well, and thinking for yourself. And that's all I ask people to do, is think for yourself.